Welcome to the Growth Boss Podcast, where we seek out the secrets to high-performing campaigns from some of the smartest marketers in the world. I'm your host, Jared Smith. Today I have Zain Ali with us, and he's going to teach us how to turn TikTok Shop into a seven-figure channel for your e-com brand. Zain is an e-commerce leader who has built multiple online brands from the ground up, generating over 8 figures in revenue. Since 2018, he and his wife have scaled businesses across platforms, including a TikTok Shop brand that hit 7 figures. As the founder of Zainith Agency, he's led global teams and specializes in paid ads, fulfillment, and client management. Zain's passion is helping brands grow while delivering results that exceed expectations. Zain, thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, man.
Awesome. Well, TikTok Shop is something that's definitely been exploding in recent years. I got to believe a lot of our audience is really interested. So how do you take a brand from scratch, from zero, and turn it into a 7-figure brand on TikTok Shop? Where do you begin with that process?
Yeah, for sure. I think like the beginning point is kind of qualifying it for TikTok Shop. Like TikTok Shop's great, like pretty biased. We have an agency, we've been on it, but like it's not the best fit for every brand. So I think the first qualification is just like, is it something that's going to do well on TikTok Shop? Like, is it in the right price range? Like if you look at TikTok Shop, you look at like what's winning on there. Obviously, it's constantly maturing as a platform. Like you have, I'm sure listeners who've done like meta ads. Back in the day, you could do like a $20, $30 drop shipping product. The AOV could be pretty low. CPMs were so cheap that it would work. Now it's like it's getting more and more expensive. It's kind of maturing. You have a lot of products on there like you just need to like have good subscription or you need good lifetime value or whatever it is. So TikTok Shop's always maturing as well. Like it used to be like really cheap stuff and like that was the criticism. Now it's getting to be like higher end stuff. You got like 9-figure brands hopping on. It's getting more legit. But even now, if you look at, the TikTok Shop data, like there's platforms where you can see what's doing well. It's really like that $20 to $30 price point. It's things like supplements, like health and wellness does really well. It's like beauty products. It's like stuff that you can demonstrate really easily on camera because you're sending it to creators. The creators are getting the sample. They're making a video. So if it's something that's hard for them to really make a cool video on, like, and it's not that like the packaging is not that trendy. It's not really made for like a Gen Z millennial audience where it's just like, it's going to stop the scroll when people are on TikTok. If it's like an $80, $100 product, it's like a $150 piece of jewelry, like TikTok Shop's probably just not the best fit. So that would be like step one is like, is it something that would do well on TikTok Shop? You have platforms like Fastmoss where you can like just search your product and see are there competitors that are doing well? And if there are, then great. Then you can go on to like the second point. And then it's just like, getting on TikTok Shop is a little bit of like a registration process. Like, you need everything. You need like a US citizen if you're going to be selling in TikTok Shop US, which is kind of tricky for some brands that are international. You register and then it just comes down to creators. Like all of TikTok Shop is based on creators. It's a video platform first. So you need to get product into the hands of creators. The creators post the product. They're making videos. Those videos are driving the sales. That's like the backbone of TikTok Shop. It's like 90% of your sales are coming from your creators. Obviously, the brand can be posting their own videos and tagging the shop link and live streaming and things like that. And that's great. But really, like the backbone is like getting good creators, incentivizing good creators, building that kind of community, that following, and then things kind of snowball from there.
Okay. So you brought up lifetime value. If you've got, kind of more affordable priced product, that $20 to $30 range, like you mentioned, where do you find that the LTV has to be on the minimum side for TikTok Shop to make sense?
It's kind of funny. Like you could have a $20, $30 product and not have a ton of LTV and still do well on TikTok Shop because like you can kind of pass on that shipping. It doesn't have to be free shipping. So let's say it's a $20 product, it's like $5 shipping. You can pass on the $5 shipping, or you can do FBT, which is kind of like Amazon, where you send your product into TikTok, TikTok fulfills it. They give the customer free 3-day shipping and they kind of subsidize the rates. It's like $4 to ship something cheap. So like then you can just kind of build into your margins. You're selling it for $24. Let's say you're giving 15% to the affiliate creator if the sale comes through their video. TikTok Shop has like a 6% fee. Let's say you're sending out samples and like your product's pretty cheap. Like if it's a $25 product, like maybe it costs you like $5 plus like $5 shipping. So you can send out 200 samples for $10 each. You can spend $2,000 on samples. So as long as you do like 4,000 in sales, even after you take out TikTok Shop's fee, the affiliate commission, as long as your gross margins are like 70-80%, like boom, with the $20 something product, you can still be like a little bit profitable. It's not going to be huge. But then you have all these videos coming out, right, that have your product. You can ping some of those creators and be like, hey, I want this video to use on Meta or something. Download the video, get the usage rights, run it on Facebook ads where you have upsells, downsells, you have bundles, things like that. You're also getting the spill over to Amazon. Like people are seeing it on TikTok. Maybe they've never bought on TikTok before, right? Maybe it's something that's like you want it now. It's like, oh, this is like an allergy relief, or like this is still like if you get sick, they want that 2-day shipping. They're going to Amazon, they're searching for your product, right? They're searching like 2-day, whatever it is. Like they're searching the name of the product. They're scrolling until they find the one that they found on TikTok Shop. They're clicking, they're buying. Now Amazon thinks you're like the best product for that keyword, right? Your keyword ranking is going up. TikTok Shop's $1 billion a month platform. Amazon's $1 billion a day. That keyword ranking is probably worth more than you than TikTok Shop. So even if you're breaking even or you're making a little bit on TikTok Shop, it's still worth it. If you're doing organic only, like you're not running ads, which a lot of $20, $30 products they can do. So you can still like break even or make a little bit, but then you have all this spillover effect. Like we've seen retailers like Target, they actually have like call outs, like shelves now that say like viral on TikTok. They have like a program that's like brands are blowing up on TikTok. They'll put into their stores because they know if someone walks in the store and they saw that product on TikTok and they didn't buy it then, but now that they're in store, they're more likely to buy it than like something that isn't viral on TikTok. That helps the retail velocity. Like these retailers they just want sell through. They want retail velocity. They want things that are going to move. So you get like these huge benefits to the brand that if you start going viral on TikTok, even if you don't make $1 and you got creatives that you can run on Meta ads and get, spend thousands on Meta ads, you have spill over to Amazon. Your keyword ranking goes from like number 10 to like number 2 for your keyword term. That's huge for you. You have retailers you're trying to get into, like Target's buyers, Walmart buyers. Everyone's using TikTok. They start seeing you on TikTok. You might not even be that big, but in their head, you're big. Like they see you everywhere on TikTok. Now they're hitting you up like, hey, let's get you into Target. Let's get you into Walmart. Those are kind of the knock-on effects that like brands really like to see.
Love it. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the setup phase before we get out and actually begin recruiting affiliates. Where do you set your commission at? Like what can you do to stand out as a brand before you actually send that first DM or email or whatever you're doing to actually reach out to these creators?
Yeah, for sure. So that's a great question. Like it is getting pretty crowded, right? Like everything is about creators. The best creators are going to want to work with like the biggest brands. The brands are viral already. They know if a product's already viral, there's a bunch of viral videos. If they post a video now, they're kind of just like retargeting the other videos.
Yeah.
So if you're starting from scratch, you've got to have like bare minimum, you got to have a really good listing, right? Same as like Amazon, same as any platform. It's got to really show the product well, have a ton of images. People don't really read the description on TikTok. It's not a platform where you would probably think that people spend a lot of time reading. Like they're just watching videos and looking at images. Yeah. You need a ton of good product images. You need to be at a good price point where they're like, oh, this is something that we think will do well. It's always helpful to start with a higher commission rate, and then you can always bring it down later. It's like standard on TikTok Shop is like 15-20%. If you want to start at like 30% or 35%, like that's great. That'll get you some more creators. Anything past 35% is kind of diminishing returns. If they're going to do it for 35% commission, of course they'll do it at 50%, but now you're just like losing a ton of money. So it's good to be at like 25 to 35% to start. You want to have a good price point. You want to just like send it out to as many creators as possible and get those like orders and reviews going. Like if you can post some of your own videos, you can use some of your own content and run it as TikTok ads. You want to get to like 100 orders and like a few 4 or 5 star reviews. That way, like a creator doesn't think like, oh, this is just some fly by night brand. Like I'm going to get the sample. I'm going to post a video. They're going to be out of stock tomorrow. Or like it's going to get taken out. You want to add some social proof, right? Like once you get like 100, 200 orders, you have a couple 5-star reviews from like friends, family, early customers, whatever it is. Now it's like creators are like, okay, this seems like a more of a legit product. I'll be down to do them on a commission only for like 25%.
Yeah. And you mentioned commission only. That was kind of leading into my next question, which is retainers. I think retainers have kind of become a thing on TikTok Shop the last maybe year or so. Talk to me about that evolution. Where are things at right now? If I am a brand new brand, do I need to be considering retainers or do I just do commissions?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like when we started in October of 23 on TikTok Shop, it was like right after it came out of beta. It came out like that summer or something. Commission only was like the only thing. It's like all you have to do is give a competitive commission rate. TikTok Shop was kind of blowing up. Not a lot of brands were taking it seriously, so it's just very easy. Now it's like if you're a top creator, right, and you can drive hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales, every day when you wake up, there are brands like flooding your inbox, and I've
Yeah.
seen it like literally 20 to 50 brands across email, across like target collabs on the platform. They're getting bombarded. So for them, like they know their value, they know what they're worth, they know that they can generate good sales. They will not do it if it's not like a super hot product. They won't do it without a retainer. So it just comes down to like how much budget the brand has. So it's bare minimum, you want to be sending out at least 200, 300 samples per month. Maybe each sample is like $10. That's 2 or 3,000 that you're sending on samples. You're getting 200 to 300 videos. You can be strict on who you approve. Like, hey, you need to have generated this much in sales. You need to have like a post rate, like you actually post when you get the product of at least 80%. That's going to be your highest ROI because you're paying like $10 for video
Yeah.
or like whatever your COGS is. Like you can't get a better ROI than that. Once you start going to flat fee creators, it's like they might be $20 to $50 for video. They might be 1,000 a month for 30 videos per month. That starts to add up, right? You have 10 creators posting every day for a month. That's 10 grand, right? Before you don't even know if the product's going to work on TikTok. So we have like 8, 9 figure brands that come to us all the time. They're like, hey, we really like, we know it's going to work, or we just really want to get this data quickly and find out quickly if it's going to work. They want to spend 10, 15 grand on flat fee creators on top of the commission only. And then we have brands who come to us that are 7 figure brands and they're like, hey, every dollar counts. Like we're really trying to stay profitable. Let's start with 200 to 300 of the commission only creators. It's going to cost us like 2 or 3 grand and do like a crawl, walk, run approach. Like if month 2 or 3, it's like we're looking like we're at least like break even. Then we'll go back and we'll spend on flat fee creators. And that's kind of what we recommend. It's like if you have the budget, go strong, start with the flat fee creators. You'll get momentum much more quickly. If budget's like more limited, then start with commission only. That's pretty low risk.
Yeah. And so would you say it's true that the top tier creators are only going to go with a brand that offers them a retainer?
If you're a creator that does 100K to like a million GMV every month, it's going to be very hard to get a hold of those creators if you're like a brand new brand they've never heard of,
Yeah.
Unless you're giving them a retainer. If you're going viral already, like if it's super viral, then they'll do it. Like I've seen like really top creators get no retainer, never communicate with the brand, just like accept like a sample request or a target collab that came their way because they saw it all over TikTok and they're like, oh, I think I could post a video and do 10,000 in sales. That's like the only time.
So my next question is going to be, how do I stand out as a brand, right? I mean, I have no doubt even like mid-tier creators are getting hit up all the time. I've seen, this kind of tool that claims to be outreach kind of on automation. I think it's called Yuka. That just fills up everybody's inboxes with messages. So how do I as a brand stand out in this ever increasingly crowded world?
Yeah, I think what you'll find is like those outreach tools, like as more and more brands use them, the reply rate gets worse and worse, right? The hit rate gets worse and worse. Like, of course, there's TikTok creators like onboarding every day, but if the usage of that tool and adoption by brands is outpacing that, then you're just not going to get really good reply rates. And plus, you have some limits. Like, you can't outreach like unlimited if you're a brand new brand. Like, TikTok starts you off at like 2,000 like invites, and then so that's the issue. What works great is like if you were to even get like 20, 30 creators that way, then you're also layering in, like, let's say you're emailing your customers, you're like, hey, we're doing this new TikTok shop thing. Like, if you're a TikTok shop creator, we'd love to have you promote. Maybe you have creators that are posting on Instagram. You're messaging them. You're using these tools where they can just repost their content on TikTok shop. Let's say for you, you have like videos, like short form videos that you can post on TikTok and tag the product link to get some orders and reviews going. So like, there's just ways that you can be a little bit more creative to get that going. You get people on your team. You're like, hey, I'll give you like $20 to post a video, or I'll pay you $50 an hour just to start live streaming on our TikTok, right? Get that momentum that way, where now creators are seeing some orders and reviews, and it's just a little bit easier for you to get that cold start. And then obviously if you have the budget, you start hiring flat fee creators. That's like the easiest way to do it. The other thing that I think a lot of people don't really focus on is just like building a relationship with those creators, because you will get some creators who are like, oh, I like this product. I want it for free and I want to get 15, 20% commission, and I'll just post a video. And if it does well, it does well. If not, I got the product for free. But if that creator posts and they do, even somewhat well, like they drive a few hundred in sales, they drive 1,000 in sales, and you don't just ignore them like a lot of brands do. They just like, they start going for the next creator. You ping them, you're like, hey, you did a really good job on this video. Would love to hop on a call with you and just like figure out how we can work together. They see the founder, they see someone important at the company on the call. they feel like valued, right? They're not just like another brand that's just, just going to ignore them after the content's posted. You're asking them, well, what they would like to see. You're like, hey, if I give you a 35% commission, would that be something you want? If I gave you a flat fee, maybe if it's just all I can afford is $100 for 5 videos, you'll be surprised. Some creators, it's like they're already posting for commission only. If you gave them $100 for 5 videos, it's like it's at least a guaranteed $100 when they're posting all these videos and maybe not getting sales. And just building that relationship and then expanding that into like a community of like 5, 10 creators in a WhatsApp group, eventually 50 to 100 in a Discord. That can be super powerful because that's kind of one-to-one relationships that don't really scale in the beginning, but that's how you set yourself apart from like these brands that have huge budgets that like, aren't going to be as scrappy and aren't going to build those connections.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. So let's talk about community building and what I can do as a brand to kind of stand out in that phase. I love the one-to-one stuff. You talked about, having a call, the founder being on there. What are some kind of general pointers that you can give brands of how to build a great community? How many calls should we have a week? How frequently should I be reaching out to them, congratulating them, things of that nature?
Yeah, I definitely like always recommend these things. Just like the crawl, walk, run model works great. Like start really slow. Like send out like an email where you're just surveying customers, and there's going to be some customers who are just going to respond to that survey and just give you like so much info. Like they're going to be super detailed. They're going to be gushing about the product. Suddenly you have like 5, 10 people who just like really enjoy the brand, right? Who are really willing to talk to you about it. You hop on a call with them. Maybe they're not even creators, but like you're just getting a really good feedback. When you open the community, it's like when you're asking about feedback for new products or things like that, they're very active. Then you can start layering in like actual creators, like you're adding them into the community after they post a video and like done well. And now it's like you have all these people that are just evangelizing the product, that really like the product. You're seeing on Shopify, like these people are coming back like month after month. There's like people who've spent hundreds of dollars, $1,000-something like LTV with your brand. Like you need to engage them somehow and kind of foster that community and foster that loyalty. So that's how I'd recommend starting, just like surveying your existing customers, surveying like creators that you've worked with before, like maybe getting them like back into the affiliate program, things like that. Brands that have like a really good affiliate program or they have like a really solid like Facebook group, that ports over really well. It's like you have all these people that are just posting constantly in your Facebook group. That shows you like there's something behind the brand that like people are really vibing with, and then you can kind of port that over to TikTok and get some of those people posting on TikTok Shop, porting over some of that content, like getting usage, right? So like, hey, you made this great video on Instagram reviewing us. If you don't have TikTok Shop, that's fine. Can we send like 50, $100 your way, post it on our TikTok and tag the product? There's a ton of ways that you can kind of bridge that over. It's just starting small. A lot of brands are they don't know how to do it, so they just like never get started.
Yeah, love it. How about incentives? Is that important on TikTok Shop these days?
Yeah, like some of the best brands that you're seeing on TikTok Shop, things like Goli, things like Betterall, they always have these crazy contests, and you don't have to go that nuts, right? Like Goli's like has given away like a car before. They like advertise they're giving away like a condo or like $1 million. Like these brands obviously have a huge budget to play with. It doesn't even have to be that crazy, right? You can make a Discord group for your brand. You can be like, hey, whoever posts like 10 videos this week, we can give you like $50, like $100 or whatever it is. And it's like people that are posting for commission only anyways, they're like, okay, cool, there's this nice bonus where all my time's not going to be wasted if I don't get any sales. You can do something where it's like whoever earns the most GMV this month will get like $1,000 prize. Second place is going to get 500. Third place is going to get all of our products for free, right? Like we're going to put together a VIP kit. Like in the VIP kit, like your COGS is really not that high, right? To send like every SKU that you have, but the perceived value is really big. So you can get very creative with it where it's like you're not giving away a ton of money, but it's like you're making like a little bit of a contest. Like if you've ever seen like salespeople at like a car dealership or like working at a SaaS company, it's like they're really fueled by competition. Like they're natural competitors. Like they want to win. When you introduce some kind of contest or some kind of bonus that's like really incentivizes people, and then you just double down on what works. You're like, oh, this video bonus did really well. People really, posted a lot, or this contest worked really well. Like my creator group or my audience is very competitive. Like they love the contest. They want to see who can make the most GMV. Just see what works and then double down on that.
Okay. I want to talk about Goli for a minute. One of the things that's really surprising to me as somebody who is not on TikTok Shop, like not a creator yet or a brand on the platform. It's amazing to me that they've been able to maintain such a high level of revenue for a long period of time. In my mind, like if I'm a creator, I'd be like, I don't want to promote Goli. Like they're already well known. I'm probably not going to hit these bonuses because again, everybody knows about them already. Kind of feels like it would feel like white noise to me. But these guys just keep powering through and are crushing it every month, still like a top 10 brand. How are they able to maintain that level of momentum for as long as they have?
Yeah, it's a good question. We're decently familiar with their team. They have a really strong in-house team that does Goli's TikTok Shop. I've seen some of the calls that they've had, and they have like senior leadership on the calls with TikTok Shop. Like they're getting their hands dirty with this kind of stuff. For their creator contest, we actually helped them publicize the first one. So we did like a Twitter space when they launched it. Then we did like a second Twitter space like after it had gone crazy, and then we kind of got their, I guess, like post, just like the data that was coming out of it. And they're very sharp. They didn't want the second Twitter space recorded. They have like their strategy that they know everyone's trying to copy, and they're moving quick. Like they work with a lot of different creator groups for that Twitter space. We did it with Social Army. They did a really good job helping launch Goli, but they'll work with everyone and they'll kind of cycle through it like Media Lab, Social Army, everyone. So they're constantly getting that like influx of talent. They're paying like flat fees to different creator groups, getting them into the ecosystem. And then every month there's a new contest, right? It's just like a contest ends, and pretty soon after that there's another one. The prizes are a little bit different, but it's still crazy prizes. And then there's constantly new people coming on the TikTok Shop. Like there's creators every day who kind of give up. Then there's new creators coming on every day. So I think they've done a really good job of just like constantly cycling offers, constantly cycling contests. And then even though it can seem like to us like, oh man, like we see this brand everywhere, like I wouldn't promote them. It's also just a huge space. Like $6-7 million on TikTok Shop a month is like such a small fraction of it. And then if I went today and asked like my mother-in-law or asked my parents like about if they knew what Goli was, they'd probably be like, I've never heard of it, right? Because we kind of live in this bubble, right? We're in this D2C e-commerce bubble. Like I know what Goli is, I know what like Hexclad and Ridge, like the big D2C brands are because we're in D2C. But then like you walk into a retailer and it's like the brands people know are what's on the shelves, and like Ridge or Hexclad, they have like 1%, a few percent of the market. So there's still just a lot of room for them to grow. And I think with Goli, what you'll find, and I think this is not a secret, it's like they've lost a good amount of money on TikTok Shop where they were like the big, like that first contest, they're giving like 20-25% commission. They're also giving like an extra 20% in prizes, right? Because if you do like $1 million GMV, you get like a $200K prize. So that's 40% that's going out the door to creators. During that first contest, they were like the number one spender on TikTok. So they're spending a ton on ads. So they lost a good amount of money on TikTok Shop, right? But now keep in mind they have like a 3 to 6 month LTV. Like 30% of people come by and come back and buy again. They're on Amazon. They saw like a crazy spillover on Amazon. Like their unit sales doubled for their ashwagandha gummy. Their keyword ranking like dropped in half. They're in every single retailer. So like they know you might buy it on TikTok Shop, and then they might not see that sale again on TikTok Shop. It looks like they're losing money. But you went over and started buying it again on Amazon. You started buying in retailers. You told a friend. Like that's kind of, and they're very aggressive. Like I think Goli's gone bankrupt before. They've done a restructuring. Like this is the kind of company that like they're not afraid to spend. And of course, like in D2C, like you always hear that phrase, like whoever can afford to spend the most is going to win. And that's kind of the mentality they have. They're like, hey, we're going to make it back. Over 6 months, we're going to make our money back. We're going to get the LTV. Target loves them now, right? Like the retailers love them because the retail velocity is up. So it's a pretty long-term play for sure.
Love it. That's a great perspective. And it is true. We get so stuck in our space and, we just assume the whole world knows them. But like you said, $6-7 million a month isn't a lot, when you consider how much revenue is being driven on TikTok Shop and obviously in commerce nationally. I want to talk about groups. That was something you mentioned real quick. Talk to us about what these groups are. Do you recommend, getting in these creator groups, and what does that look like?
Yeah, so you have like creator groups like Social Army, Media Labs, Creators Corner. Those are kind of the biggest. They're known for TikTok Shop. They all have their own model. Like I think Social Army is like $50 a month if you're a creator. Media Labs, I think it's like $2,000 one time. So they're kind of filtering out creators like who's serious. Like if you're willing to spend money to be in a group, it's like, okay, you're a little bit more serious. And then kind of what you get is like you get training from like top coaches in these groups, and then you're also getting access to these retainer deals. So like let's say you spend $2,000 to join Media Labs. You learn a lot from the coaches in there. And then like every month you do a retainer campaign that a brand's running where you're getting paid $1,000 to post 30 videos or $700 if you're kind of newer. So it's like you can kind of recoup your investment in a couple months. And kind of the benefit for the brands is like, okay, I know these creators are at least somewhat serious. It's not someone I'm sending a sample to and they're just going to kind of, half-ass it. They're just going to post a unboxing video or something blurry. It's like, no, these creators have invested in this. Like they want to make money and they're going to do all that. And then what's nice with these groups is like you have like coaches who are going to coach the creators to make better content. They're going to kind of stay on them so you don't have to about like, hey, you need to post every day. If they don't post every day, they're going to replace them. So there's a pretty good value for both the brands and for the creators. It's like everybody's getting something out of it. Because anytime you start something new, like if you're a creator on TikTok Shop, you don't really know where to start. You don't know what you're doing wrong. These groups give you some of that direction. Obviously, you have to be careful if you're a creator. There's going to be some groups that are just trying to rip you off. They're going to charge you money and then the course is worthless and whatever. But if it's something that's like a monthly model, it's kind of hard to lose, right? You're spending like $50 a month. If it's not working, you can just drop out. And then brands have like access to like really good talent that they don't have to manage on their own.
Love it. Let's talk about ads a little bit. What are some of the keys that you found over the years in utilizing TikTok Shop's advertising program? How does it work? What are some kind of, hidden hacks to making it go a little further than what a traditional person might understand?
Yeah, for sure. So when we launched our own brand on TikTok Shop in October of 23, they were really juicing things, right? Like they really wanted TikTok Shop to pop off. So like if you posted a video and you tagged a TikTok Shop link, it was like boom, like you're getting views. And they were doing crazy subsidies. It's like if you're a new customer, you're getting free shipping, you're getting 30% off. TikTok's paying for all that. So things were just popping. Now it's like obviously at some point you got to get that profitable. So like they start pulling back on the subsidies. You don't get as much free reach. It used to be like they had a certain percentage of your feed was just allocated to Shop. And now it's like the Shop videos are just like competing with every other video. Otherwise people are going to complain, right? They're like, I hate TikTok. Every other video is Shop link. So now the organic distribution has pulled back a bit. It's a little bit more pay to play. Because TikTok Shop's getting their 6% fee. If you're using FBT, they're eventually going to get profitable there. But when you run ads, they're making like 95, 99% profit, right? So they want you running ads. So their ad platform's pretty good. They have GMV Max down. That's kind of the biggest thing. They've kind of retired other features that you can't really run ads to like more manual ads on TikTok Shop. GMV Max will take every video that you've posted, the videos your creators have posted that they've given you permission for, and it'll just decide, the AI will decide what's the best creative. It'll allocate your budget, all that good stuff. And it just comes down to like, you need really good creative, whether it's Meta, whether it's Google, like content is king now. It's just like the targeting, whatever. It's just AI does all of it now. Media buying is kind of commoditized. The number of hacks kind of get less and less. And now it's just like, you need to get amazing videos. So you just need to seed out a lot of samples. You need to work with these creator groups. The more videos you have, if you have like 1,000 videos, there's much better chances there's a winner that you can spend hundreds of thousands on ads. If you only have 100 videos, like it's just not that likely. Like you see Meta agencies and like the key thing on Meta is like you need more creative and you need more creative diversity, and that's the biggest difference between spending 1K a day and 100K a day. It's just creative diversity and the volume of it to find a good winner.
And what sort of ROAS are you shooting for when you run ads? I think that's one of the things you can kind of input into the system is like, hey, here's the target ROAS. What is that target ROAS that you want to hit for your clients?
Yeah, for sure. So target ROI is great because it's like a cost cap on Meta. It's like, hey, if you're not hitting this, like do not spend my money. And then they also have max delivery, which is like lowest cost on Meta, where it's just like, I don't care what the ROI is, just spend my money. So target ROI is great. It really depends on the brand. Like some brands are like I said, they want to break even on TikTok Shop. They're like, hey, we're gonna get those creatives, we're gonna run them on Meta ads. We want the Amazon spillover effect. They're like, get me a 1.4. And then we also usually offer like a decreased commission to creators. So let's say they normally get 15%. They might get 10% when we're running ads. So if they're doing 25%, they might get 20%. That gives a little bit more room and margins for ads. So we've got some brands that are like, hey, run me at a 1.4 and I want to get as many sales as possible and I just want to feed the top of funnel. And then we have some brands like, hey, we need this to be profitable. After all the fees and everything, like we need to hit a 2.0 ROI for it to make sense. And then we set the target ROI to 2.0. And then our focus is just getting as much content as possible so that GMV Max has enough videos that it can spend and get a 2.0 ROI. Otherwise, you set it to 2.0 and it just doesn't have the creatives to do it. It's just going to stop spending.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what are you paying for the usage rights to pull a video off of TikTok and run it on Meta?
Yeah, so like that's always a common question. Like people are like, "Hey, do I just have the usage rights?" And it's like,
Hmm.
no, technically, like they post on TikTok Shop. If they give you permission, you can run ads on TikTok, but you can't just post it anywhere. Now, do some brands just like download the videos and post it everywhere and just wait until the creator reaches out to them? Yeah, some do that. What we typically recommend is like reaching out to them and be like, "Hey, we want to run this on Facebook, or we want to put it on our website. We want usage rights to put wherever for indefinite, just so the management's easier." And usually we offer like, it can be like 50, 100, $150. Obviously, if it's a huge creator and they've driven like
Sure.
100,000 in sales, they might be like, "Hey, I want a percentage of the spend, or I want a percentage of
Yeah.
sales." But they've done like a few sales here and there, they wouldn't have normally, if they didn't give you usage rights, they're just not getting any money because you can't post it anywhere. So like $150 usually does it. If not, it's just like a negotiation.
And where do you generally start that negotiation if you do have a creator that maybe has driven 50, 100 grand on a video and you're like, hey, I want to go put this on Meta. This is going to, do really, really well there. How do you start that negotiation process?
Yeah, so typically it's like whatever channel you first reach out to them on. So if it's like a creator group, you tell the creator group, they kind of handle the negotiation. If you reach out to them on TikTok Shop Seller Center, then you ping them there like, "Hey, great job on your video. We like the usage rights. We like to post it wherever." Some brands start with a dollar figure. Some just say that because they think the creator might just be like, "Hey, I want 5% of spend," and they're like, "Cool, done." Or the creator says like, "Hey, I want $50." They're like, "Cool, done." Some of them will start at a number. They'll be like $100. It's whatever they tell us they want to do, and then we kind of do that. So we might start at $100. They might counter at 200, 250. We might settle at 150, and then it usually also leads to another conversation where like, "Hey, how much would you want to like post 5 more videos or 10 more videos on TikTok?" Right? Because that video worked.
Yeah, love it. Okay. Talk to me a little bit about TikTok's version of FBA, for those who aren't familiar with that, fulfilled by Amazon. What is TikTok's version of that? How does it work? What do they, take as far as payments? Do they offer everybody free shipping? What does that look like?
Yeah, so FBT used to be like a white label of ShipBob, and then that contract kind of ended pretty abruptly, and then it transitioned to like it's like a network of like Chinese 3PLs that have like a contract with FBT, and like depending on like where your warehouse is located or like whatever is most convenient, they'll give you like Redlands location, which I think is sunsetting, but they'll just give you the right warehouse. You send it in there. Their pricing is actually really good. Like the rate card's really good. I think some of it is just like they're trying to subsidize it, right? They want, if you look at Amazon, like they lost billions for like years, right,
Yeah.
to get Amazon to work, and Amazon Prime, they were just bleeding money. So FBT, it's like they might charge you like $4 to like pack and ship like something that's like a few ounces, like whatever, like a supplement bottle, but they're giving the customer free 3-day shipping. So probably they're not making money on it. It's a pretty good rate card. You're gonna get a little banner that says like fulfilled by TikTok, right? So that's going to add some trust. Creators are going to get that free 3-day shipping. That's going to improve conversion rate. So if you can do it, it's kind of a no-brainer. There is a bit of a wait list sometimes for like our agency, other agencies, they can get you whitelisted. You can kind of hop on. As long as it's not like midst of Q4, you can probably enroll. But then you're managing another inventory supply, right? Like you need to make sure you stay stocked on Amazon. You need to make sure stay stocked on your website and your 3PL. And now you also need to make sure you keep inventory in FBT, which means like Q4, if you're trying to do just in time and like it's the midst of Q4 and you try to send in a shipment and they turn away your truck, or it takes 2 weeks inbound, now you're going to run out of stock and like lose momentum. So that's always like kind of the pros and cons. It's like you're going to have to manage this separately from, because otherwise you can just sync it into your Shopify and fulfill it with all your other orders. If you're doing a ton of sales using meta ads on your website, it's pretty smooth. So that's kind of the pros and cons.
Okay. And one of the things I've heard with TikTok Shop is that they have a probationary period now for new brands. What does that look like? How does a brand get through that reasonably quickly?
Yeah, so like they're always like they want to make sure everyone has a really good experience, right? It's such a young platform. If brands are showing up and they're just like scamming people, and then people like after that first experience, nobody's coming back to buy on TikTok, right? That's kind of the fear. So like they'll start you off like sometimes it's like a 10 order a day cap. It goes to like a 200 order a day cap, and then you just need to prove yourself. Like you need to make sure every single order ships out on time. You need to make sure you're not canceling orders, because in the long term, that's not that big of a deal. If you're doing like thousands of orders and you're out of probation, it's like that's normal. It happens. They flag you, they give you a violation, you fix it. But in the beginning, if you screw up anything, it's just a problem because they might just assume that you're just like some terrible seller and they're just gonna kick you off the platform. And getting support is like pretty tough. With an agency, you can do it, but if you're just on the seller center trying to appeal, you're just not going to go anywhere. So that period, you need to make sure everything's dialed in. You need to be doing like a test order or making sure everything's syncing correctly. The tracking number of shipping is syncing back into Seller Center, all of that. It's just smart to kind of ramp up slowly, that they're trying to do you a favor by capping you,
Sure.
even though it's really frustrating. And then if you're looking at your shop performance score, or you're looking at your shop health, everything's delivering on time. Like you're not getting like a ton of negative reviews. You can't get more than 1% of orders as negative reviews. Then after like a month or two, TikTok Shop is just going to lift those limits.
Okay. And is there anything that I can do as a brand to reach out to customers and request reviews or anything, or is that kind of forbidden on the platform?
You can't incentivize reviews, which I think is like standard. So you can't be like,
Sure.
hey, leave a review. I'm going to give you like
Yeah.
a percentage off. But you can reach out to them and be like, hey, hope you like the product. And then if they have a really positive experience, you can be like, hey, please make sure to leave a review. Nothing wrong with that. You can also, if you have friends and family or you have like loyal customers on your D2C website and you reach out to them like, hey, please order from TikTok and then let us know, how you liked it. You can get reviews that way. It's not going to be something that's just like, they're hunting through. It's just an AI at the end of the day. So as long as it doesn't look incredibly suspicious, like you'll be fine. But really it comes down to order count. Like even if you like get a ton of positive reviews, the negative review rate is based on orders. So like if you do 100 orders and 1 out of 100 is a negative review, you're already at 1%. If you go above a 1%, you're going to get flagged. So that's kind of how they do it, where it's like you can't just flood a bunch of positive reviews and like weigh out the negative reviews and be okay. It's like of the people actually ordering, how many of them are having a negative experience.
Yeah, makes sense. So one of the concerns I would have as a new brand getting on TikTok Shop is running out of product. So obviously this is, I'm sure, a question you have to answer on a regular basis for your clients. What do you recommend clients have as like a minimum stock when they're getting on Amazon or getting on TikTok Shop, assuming they actually want to do well? They have a competitive, commission. They have a decent, incentive structure in place. Like they want to do well. Where are you recommending kind of their stock be at the starting gate?
Yeah, for sure. So like if we're recommending they send out 200 to 300 samples, we would love, like on like a bullish case, like if for every sample we got 2 orders, right? We want to make sure we have enough inventory. Otherwise we spend $2,000-$3,000 sending out samples. And then as soon as the video hits, we run out of inventory and the momentum dies. Like we want to avoid that. So if we're sending out 200, 300 units per month, we want to have bare minimum in reserve 1,000 units, right? So like, let's say month 1, you have 1,000 units. Starting month 2, we need to be back up at least 1,000 units because we want to, just have something in reserve in case things go viral. And then it's like, it becomes like more of like inventory planning. It's like, hey, like whatever we did, let's have like 1.5x or 2.5x, depending on, it all depends on like, how long does it take them to produce it? How long does it take to ship from China to their 3PL? Or maybe it's US manufacturer, like some of them, like it's just a 2-week lead time. So that affects things. Like if it's a month and a half lead time, we need way more inventory than if you have like a 2-week lead time. So all those are just a conversation to brand.
Zain, is there anything else that a brand owner should know before they jump on TikTok Shop?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we just like want brands to understand is like it is a momentum based platform. Like month 1 with 0 orders, 0 reviews, you send out say you send out 200 samples tomorrow. It's going to take 3 or 4 days for the creator to get it. TikTok's going to then give them 2 weeks to post. They post, it can take a week or 2 for that video to get traction. So I think a lot of brands, like if they've qualified it, it's a good fit. They have competitors, their price range is good, they're doing well on TikTok Shop. They just get impatient because with Meta, you can kind of like, you load up a bunch of creatives. It's like you can just like start doubling your budget if it's hitting, right? TikTok Shop's not like that. It's like really you're going to see some results like 2 or 3 months in, but your strongest results, like where you're actually like start to get excited about the platform, are like 4 to 6 months in. So just know that it's going to take some time. If you're wanting to be ramped up for Q4, you kind of have to start today. Otherwise, it's not going to happen by Q4. So that's kind of the biggest thing.
Yeah, and regardless of when you are watching this video, you should always be thinking that you need to start today for Q4. Even if you're watching in Q4 of 1 year, probably building towards the next anyway. So, Zain, this has been a pleasure. For those who want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
I'm on Twitter at not Zen again. So it's NOTZAINAGAIN. Pretty active on Twitter. I'm also on LinkedIn under my full name. I'm a little bit less active there. So it's ZAIN. Last name's ALI. So Twitter and LinkedIn, probably the best place to reach me. And yeah, always tweeting about TikTok Shop or just tweeting memes about ecom. So if you like either.
Love it. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, man.